Santa Clara Police Department. My name's Dave Tanquary. I'm a detective.
So what does it take to become a police officer?
Well, in order to become a police officer, there's minimum standards that you have to meet, and one of those is being 21 years old, being a U.S. citizen, and most police departments require applicants to have some sort of college education, at least 2 years, and of course you have to have a clean background, and you can't have been in trouble. That wouldn't be good, and you have to go through the police academy, which is about a 6-month process, and then once you finish that, you work with another officer for about 6 or 8 weeks, sometimes longer, on the streets doing the actual job, and then you can work as a solo police officer at that point.
What do you have to do at the police department?
Well, like I said, once you get hired, then the police department that you get hired with send you to the police academy. And the police academy is basically like going to school full-time, but you get paid. And they teach you everything from report writing skills, memorizing different codes and sections, learning about case law, which is, past incidents that paved the way for police to do things and not to do things. And they teach you about, shooting, marksmanship with the guns, and arrest control techniques on how to properly arrest people. And then they teach you a little bit about patrol procedures, which is what to look for on the street when you see bad people, and how to stop cars, write tickets. They teach you everything.
Or do you have to major in anything specific?
Not necessarily. Most departments nowadays is very competitive to get a job, so most applicants have a full degree, like a 4-year college degree, and it depends. It could be in any study, any focus. It could be nursing, it could be a business degree, or it could be a criminal justice degree.
What did you?
I had a criminal justice degree, and in fact, when I got hired, I still hadn't finished my college. I had the minimum required units that they needed, but I got hired while I was in school, so I continued to go to school even though I was working full time. I took one night class a semester, and of course it took me a long time to get my degree, but eventually I got it.
Did you always want to be a police officer?
Pretty much, as long as I can remember. I've always been interested in law enforcement, and obviously, not knowing anything about it, I was more intrigued by just the excitement and the guns and chasing people, putting people in jail. And then once I got hired and started working, I realized that it was actually a much harder job than I anticipated. Dealing with domestic violence issues and confronting people who need to be arrested and they're resisting, all that takes a lot of work and it's a lot of stress.
Did you want to be a detective, or did you already know?
Yeah, I started out as a uniformed patrol officer like everyone does, and then I actually did the motorcycle unit, so I drove around the motorcycle and wrote tickets. Primarily that's all the motorcycle cops do. And then I worked the street crime unit where I was undercover, and we went out and targeted gang members and drug dealers and things like that. And then eventually I got into the investigation division, and that's where I'm currently at, investigating general crimes and kind of get tired.
So earlier you said how you're part of all these different, patrol and that. What was, in your opinion, your favorite?
Well, I liked when I was in the SWAT team. That was pretty fun because we trained a lot. We got to use high-powered rifles and learn how to blow up doors and search houses and like make dynamic entries. So it was really exciting, and we got to shoot a lot, and that was fun too.
I have a question related to that, right? Because I see in movies often how there'll be those big old parties and people will bring SWAT teams into them. Have you ever seen anyone from your SWAT team ever getting hurt from going to those things or kind of events? Has that ever happened?
Well,
or?
I think so. I think I know what you're talking about. But yeah, anytime we do like a high-risk search warrant or a high-risk entry, it's dangerous. I mean, you're going into an unknown environment, and you don't know if these guys are armed or have explosives or whatnot, or just like the drug labs that we've hit. The chemicals that are in there can be dangerous. So a lot of guys have been injured, to some degree.
When you did undercover, was it like all your movies where you're like, oh, I'm gonna dress up as a gangster?
Somewhat. Yeah, I mean, we dress in civilian, normal clothing. Not suit and tie, but we wear jeans and like athletic clothing or whatever, just like everybody else. You would never know that the cops are around you today.
Do you get to work with probation officers a lot, or?
Yeah, we do. We work with probation officers.
Because what you do is like detective. What's like the difference between your job and theirs?
Well, our job is different because we have, full police powers. So we have the power to arrest people, and the power to carry guns, and the authority to carry guns, and just a different classification. Probation officers in general are there to sort of guide and watch over the people that were charged with a crime and convicted of a crime, and now they have to pay a penalty for what they did. And most of the time it's being on probation, so they just are kind of glorified babysitters, watching over these people. But it's a very important job. I don't mean it like it's not important. It is.
Is there ever a time where you get really scared at your job?
Yeah, I've been scared many times. You got to be real about it, and fear is just one of those things that everybody experiences, and we're just able to deal with it a little better than most people because we're continually in a stressful environment. So we can recognize the threat beforehand and then take appropriate actions to try to decrease our chance of getting injured or killed.
Is it hard hearing about the stories of how people or young children, when they're victims of something tragic, or how does it affect you at all?
Oh yeah, it's tough. I mean, like I said, it's one of those things. Like the job that I'm currently doing is basically all about kids being victimized. So I'm in it all day, every day. I interview kids that are victims, and their families are affected by it, and then so it does get stressful after a while.
Does it worry you for you and your children at all? Does it affect how you feel about everything and the environment for them?
I think that at some point it does. I'm not necessarily worried for them, but I try to educate them as much as possible so that they can be more alert and aware of different situations that can cause a problem.
Are there ever times where you feel like things that happen at work interfere with your life?
Oh yeah, all the time. Just the fact that we're dealing with the grief and the bad people in society. It just wears on you after a while. So you do become a little bit cynical, and what I mean by that is that you get judgmental, and maybe you tend to be a little less patient with the general public because you deal with people messing up every day, and you kind of get tired of it. Well, the most rewarding part of my job is actually starting a case from the beginning and working it through and developing all the leads and finding out if there were witnesses and interviewing the suspects and accomplishing the whole task, and then hopefully getting the person arrested that committed the crime. That's always the most rewarding part.
Are there ever times where you get really upset because certain cases go a way you didn't want to do them?
Yeah, often, it's difficult because you know that a crime occurred because somebody's reporting it, but you don't have enough evidence to prove it. And once we're completed with our investigation, we send it to the district attorney, who makes the ultimate decision on whether or not that suspect's going to get charged with a crime. And sometimes they don't charge them because there's just not enough evidence, so that is frustrating.
Do you ever see people like police officers that get overpowered with their power?
Yeah, it happens. It's just like any other profession. You've seen, professional sports where, maybe a football player gets frustrated at the end of a play and then plays over and then kicks the guy or something, or they punch each other or something. It's just the nature of the job, because it's a very high stress, high tension job. You're constantly dealing with people who want to hurt you and lie to you and, take advantage of other people. So occasionally guys do lose their tempers and act unprofessionally.
Is there ever any times where you're just tired and you just don't want to do your job? You're just like, I've had it with this job. Do you ever have those days here?
Oh yeah, all the time. Yeah, it's just like any other job, except that there's a greater responsibility for us to do well and perform in a professional manner, because we're representing the city and we're taking care of people that can't take care of themselves. And we get to carry guns, so it comes with a lot of responsibility. So you have to kind of just ignore those feelings of frustration, or you can seek out help through different psychologists and chaplains. We have a chaplains program here, so those guys are always there to listen to you and talk to you about some of the frustration you have.
So if you could give advice to people like us that want to be possibly what you today, what would you advise?
I would just say start now and live a clean life. Stay in school, definitely, and well in school. And, start getting some job experience out there as well. You don't necessarily have to be a cop right away. You can get a job somewhere else and build up a good reputation with your employer so that they'll provide a good reference. And, you have to really want to do this job because it requires, helping people mostly. That's what we do. But it also requires being able to defend yourself and deal with, people that want to hurt you. So it's a pretty exciting job. You have to be well-rounded. So gather as much experience as possible before you get into it.
Okay, so that's all I have to ask. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you,
very
Mr.
much.
Tanquary.
Thank you.
Yay.